Out in very mixed conditions indeed for the second race here at Oulton Park. Top four reversed after the race one result, which means George Sutton is the man on pole position. Alongside him is Rhys Barr, and on row two it is Brett Smith. Into the pit lane though, at the end of the formation lap comes Henry Neal, the race one winner, in trouble. Now whether he's made the wrong tyre choice or something, not sure. We are ready to go then with a gap on the grid alongside Brett Smith. A very slow start for Brett Smith indeed. Looks like he stalled the car, finally gets it going. Just as well, he's already claimed enough points to win the championship then. Rhys Barr into second behind pole man George Sutton. There's 22, and that is Will Neal ahead of Scott Jeffs. Max Bladen a little further down the grid than he should be. There is the number 11 car. Got a penalty for starting race one out of position. One of two or three drivers who did. Really treacherous conditions. Oh, big moments across the grass for Paul Bell. Just gets it all sorted out. Second of the blue and black cars there is Brett Smith alongside Joe Polly. Ooh, Polly with the outside line. Brett on the inside just squeezes through. May have been more grip on the outside, wasn't enough room. And our race one winner Henry Neal now heading out of the pit lane as he changed onto wet. It is just starting to rain. There is Brett Smith on the inside, scoots through. Paul Bell drifted out wide, lost 10th position. George Sutton with the race lead from Rhys Barr, David Grady, the blue car, Max Bladen. Then the battle for 5th position. That is Henry Neal in 5th spot ahead of the orange machine. That is Scott Jeffs. As they sweep across the line first time, you can see just how patchy the grip is. Big puddles, patches of water. Some of the tarmac is starting to dry out. Richard O'Dwyer drifting around the outside there. Looking to pick up a position in the blue and black machine all over the back of the orange and white car of Scott Jeffs. And right behind him, the white and blue car of Callum King. Look at him sending it all the way down, and he's going to go around the outside. Can he hang on? No, drifts out onto the curbs, loses a bit of ground. And so the status quo remains the same. There is Callum King, the number 45 machine, and right behind him now is Brett Smith. Wipers on with a little bit of spray. Really treacherous conditions these. Part slicks, part wets. Wets aren't going to last that long, but it's not a massively long race. Through again of Druids goes Brett Smith in trouble in front. Oh, that is Richard O'Dwyer heavily into the barriers right under the tree. That is a big thump. Obviously lost control on the exit of Druids. Got spat off. Well, big moment for Richard O'Dwyer. Leaves the field open in front of Brett Smith though. O'Dwyer vaults the barriers. And that was a big old thump. It is going to bring out the safety car. Take a look again. We're watching the battle right behind Richard O'Dwyer. What happens? Well, you don't really see, but he spears off to the right-hand side. And that is the end of his race. Lights off on the safety car. George Sutton, the race leader, weaving to keep some heat in his tyres. Rhys Barr right behind, focused on Sutton, determined to make a good restart, and he does. As we go green, he will be right with the race leader, and he's left David Grady in his wake. Grady will have to deal with everybody queuing up behind. Max Bladen and Will Neal for a start, 4th and 5th. Then the orange car, number 90, Scott Jeffs, ahead of Brett Smith. So Brett Smith at the moment in 7th spot. Oh, challenge down the hill on Max Bladen. This is for 4th place. Not quite enough room there for Will Neal, the number 22 car, has to tuck back in, but through on the inside, Brett Smith. He dive bombs number 90, Scott Jeffs, the orange and white car, and through he goes. Now he's full of confidence, isn't he? He's made some good moves in this race and closing in fast on the grey number 22 car of Will Neal. So lead trio ahead of Max Bladen, Will Neal, and there Brett Smith in 6th position now. Came from 3rd on the grid and then dropped way down outside the top 12, I reckon, by the first corner. Now he's trying to make up ground. Will Neal keeps the door shut at Lodge. along the start-finish straight. I think there was a challenge shaping up behind for Brett Smith. The trio still together. Number 1 David Grady at the back, Reece Barr in the middle, 444 George Sutton, the leader. The podium cars are about as close as the drivers will be stood on the podium if that's where they finish. Reece Barr looking for a way through. On the podium in race 1, looking to double up here and maybe claim victory. Right with them now, Max Bladen. Reece Barr losing out on the run up the hill, didn't quite have the traction of the race leader. Now let's see what he can do at Druids. A little tiny touch on the brakes from George Sutton just to stabilise the car. And there is Max Bladen having a little sniff at David Grady's number 1 car. Max Bladen in 11, the pale blue car. The other pale blue nose still behind Will Neal. That is Brett Smith. Bladen looking deep on the inside. Oh, and David Grady has to let him go there, or he would have been tagged out of the race. Loses ground. Through goes 22, Will Neal. So George Sutton leads from Reece Barr and Max Bladen. Everybody else third. Brett Smith on the inside of Will Neal, and Will Neal on the inside of David Grady. Grady out of bed. Tiny touch between them, but 3 wide never works there. And once you're on the grass, it is so wet, so slippery and treacherous, you're going to lose out massively. Will Neal, oh, hanging on still from Brett Smith. And right behind, Callum King trying to go the long way around the outside of Scott Jeffs, runs out of traction. Epic last lap action, sort out, shaping up here for just about every position on the track. George Sutton still leading about a car length and a half now ahead of Reece Barr. Max Bladen in 3rd, and then the battle for 4th. 22 Will Neal just hanging on from Brett Smith. Smith has got a run here, tiny little bobble there, little touch between them. Neal shutting the door, got to do that, and Max Bladen having a late lunge down the inside. Last corner attempt to try and get 2nd place away from Reece Barr. Don't think he did it. George Sutton's going to win this. Reece Barr 2nd, Max Bladen 3rd, and out the line in drag race. Brett Smith just gets 4th place from Will Neal by 26 thousandths of a second. But it is victory in race 2 at Oulton Park for George Sutton. Confirmation of that tight podium, 6/10 covering Max Bladen in 3rd, Reece Barr in 2nd, and winner George Sutton.
Pulled a bit of a gap on Reece, started to get a bit of heat in the tyres, comfortable with the car. Safety car came out, so backed them all up. Good restart and got it to the flag.
It was tough to pass. Obviously, I'd like to have been 1 step further up, but due to the safety car and the main passing opportunities were wet on the inside, so it was just really tricky to try and pass. And he was defending well into the last corner, so yeah, he drove a good race. It was good.
Sure, I was loving it. I felt like I just had the confidence where people didn't, so I trusted the car, trusted what the boys done on the car, on the setup, so I was loving it, and I wanted it to be a bit more greasy because I could see the other 2 really getting nervous, so yeah, I'm happy. Fortunately I couldn't get the win there today, but it's been another good weekend.
Just sort of saying then, I think it sort of all sort of came on top of me just as the red lights went out then, because I went and installed it. Yeah, so I think I was down in sort of like P13, P14 by the end of lap 1, brought it back through to 4th, so yeah, I think now, give it a couple of days, it'll sink in, I'll be like, oh my God, I've actually won it. The thing I've been trying to do for 2 years, I've actually won it.
He has indeed. He is now uncatchable in the points. Congratulations to the 2017 champion, Brett Smith. And now all eyes turn to the tight battle for the runner-up spot. And that will be decided in the final championship race weekend at Donington Park.